Okay, let's dive in. Here's a question for you. Can someone be deeply spiritual and wield real-world power effectively? They often seem like opposites, don't they?
They really do. It's a tension many leaders, and maybe even many of us, feel.
Exactly. And that's why today we're doing a deep dive into Miri Piri Diwas and the legacy of Sri Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji. Because this whole concept really challenges that separation. Our mission here is to unpack how the sources present this unique fusion of the spiritual and the temporal.
And it's fascinating because the sources don't just say Miri, which is like worldly authority or God's power, and Piri, saintliness, can coexist.
Right.
They frame Piri, that saintliness, as the actual prerequisite for wielding Miri. For having power, even for using weapons.
So power without that spiritual core is lacking, or maybe even dangerous, according to this view.
That seems to be the implication, yes. That true authority needs that ethical, spiritual grounding.
And this idea wasn't static either. Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji later reinterpreted it, right? Added another layer.
Absolutely. He conceptualized Miri as Tek, the sword. It represents, well, power, pride, sovereignty.
Okay.
And Piri became Deg, the cauldron, the cooking vessel, symbolizing the langar, that communal kitchen, selfless service, saintliness.
So the sword and the community kitchen, power and service, side by side.
Inextricably linked.
Yeah. And Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji didn't just teach this. The sources say he lived it. How did that actually look day to day?
Well, the accounts describe this really interesting rhythm. He'd wake early, deep spiritual practice, meditation, hymns, teaching.
The Piri aspect.
Exactly. But then, after a short rest, he's out hunting. Not alone, but with 400 mounted warriors.
Wow. Okay, so a very visible Miri aspect right after the Piri.
It perfectly illustrates that balance in action.
Yeah.
He wasn't just a secluded saint. He was engaged with the world very actively.
And that engagement became really concrete with the occult talk, didn't it?
Oh, definitely. A pivotal moment. The sources mention the specific day as Sunday, 5th of Har, seen as significant. He personally laid the foundation stone.
The eternal throne, the seat of temporal authority for Sikhs.
Right. And get this. The sources emphasize he built it himself with just Baba Buddha Ji and Bhai Gurdas Ji. No outside masons or laborers.
Just the three of them. That's significant in itself.
And then there's the height. Intentionally built 6 inches higher than the Mughal emperor's throne in Delhi.
That can't be accidental. That's a statement.
A very clear one. Spiritual sovereignty taking precedence. The accounts even say God commanded him to build this eternal throne without delay, and that his commands would cover both rulers and religious life.
So it was both a spiritual declaration and a political challenge.
Undeniably, it signaled a shift. The guru wielding both kinds of authority. And this was visually represented when he started wearing 2 swords.
Ah, yes, the 2 swords. People asked him about that, didn't they? Why 2?
They did. And his answer, as recorded, is really key. He said, essentially, one sword is to take the Miri from the rulers. The other is to take the Piri from the spiritual leaders. He explained that holding both protected them. That Miri and Piri needed each other to survive. It was about, protecting the good and challenging oppression. The saint-soldier idea taking form.
So this wasn't just symbolic. He started building an actual army.
Correct. He asked Sikhs for horses and weapons. Initially, 52 young men became his bodyguard, which then inspired hundreds more. He appointed commanders.
And he even brought in dadis, the bards.
Yes, to sing these epic ballads, tales of bravery, to instill courage in the recruits. It was a whole cultural shift alongside the military one.
And he did fight. 4 battles against the Mughals, and the sources say he won them.
He did. But even amidst this, you see the Piri. There's that story of Pir Shah Abdallah, a Sufi saint who was struck by Guru Sahib's grace.
Right, he asked him those deep questions about women, fakirs, wealth, faith.
And Guru Sahib's answers, like saying a fakir is neither Hindu nor Muslim, showed that universal spiritual wisdom even while living this very worldly, powerful life.
It connects back to how Bhai Ji described them, doesn't it? Drinking cups of peacefulness and bravery.
Beautifully put. It captures that essence perfectly. The tranquil saint and the brave warrior, not one or the other.
So, looking at all this, the key takeaway really seems to be this intentional fusion. It wasn't power despite spirituality, or spirituality despite power. It was a conscious blend.
Exactly. A different model for leadership altogether, where power serves justice, guided by that deep spiritual core.
Which brings us back to today. You know, this historical example really pushes back against separating power and morality or leadership and compassion.
It does. It suggests real strength might actually come from that blend. Using influence not just for control, but as a shield for those who need it.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It definitely does. And maybe that's the thought to leave with you. In our modern world, what does it actually mean to lead with both strength and compassion? How could we embody that saint-soldier spirit, not necessarily literally, but ethically, in our own lives and responsibilities?